All right, good morning, AP Theory. It's like 10:03 at night, so I'm just going to get into it. I'm sorry, no fancy tricks or anything of the sort this time. Let's go ahead and talk about what we're doing today. So we're going to look at major chord chart review, and then we're going to look at minor chords, and then finally we're going to look at triads and seventh chords as a quick just little overview. So this one's just going to kind of go straight through a little bit. I apologize. And then you're going to have a worksheet that's hidden in the room somewhere, and it's your job to find it, and it's due by the end of class. All right, I'll give you a little hint though. Let's go ahead and review major chords. So here is our major chord progression. We're just going to do this kind of fast. So 1 goes to 3, goes to 6. Yes, after that we have our bracket, which has 4 that goes down to 2. 2 does not go up to 4. After that, we leave our subdominant bracket and we go to our dominant bracket, which is right here, circled. And then 5, 7, and 7 diminished can go back and forth, and that goes to 1. Yes, we talked about major. We're going to keep talking about major when I return. Your exceptions. 1 can go anywhere. That is our first exception here. I'm going to highlight so we can kind of follow along as I'm talking. 1 can go anywhere. 1 to 3 and then go on 1 to 6, 1 to 4, 1 to 5. It doesn't matter. It can go anywhere. Exception number 2, this is our first cadence, and that's that 4 can go to 1. That is our arrow going from this direction to this direction here. Our exception number 3 is that 5, 7, or 7 diminished can go to 6. Usually it really does go from this way to the 6. The 6 can take the shortcut and go to the dominant bracket, but more often than not, the dominant bracket goes back to the 6, and that gives us our deceptive cadence because it tricks the ear. I have a ukulele here. Here is C, G7, and it goes somewhere a little bit darker than back home, right? Oh, it goes to 6, and it's Gorgina. So that is our deceptive cadence, exception number 2. Or 3 technically, cadence number 2, it doesn't matter. And then now number 4, 3 can go to 4. This is our unnamed cadence. This is the somewhere over the rainbow cadence, the 3 to 4 cadence, whatever you want to call it. But that 3 can hop over and go straight to 4. Remember, this is for the best, strongest possible chord progressions. So keep that in mind. Okay, this can translate to any key at all. So you can start in the key of C, in the key of G, whatever you'd like. On your homework, you did 2 different keys, yes, which is all good. So hopefully you guys did all of your tarea. If not, I'll check it on Friday, and you're a hooligan. So it starts on C and ends on C, and your job was also to write out this chord progression 10 times. So hopefully you have this bracket memorized. What we're going to talk about today is the minor key signatures, the minor chord progressions, and that is very similar to our pattern, but just different. So why don't we go ahead and get into that right now. So, you want to learn about minor chords. You must think you're pretty tough. We're going to talk about them. All right, everybody. Hello. You can go ahead and label these notes. Let's go minor chord progressions. Oh, if I didn't say it, take out your notebooks. Boom! You need your notebooks and a pencil, you hooligans. Boom, boom, and bam. Okay, it's not Christmassy colors, but I wanted it to feel darker and a little deeper. Okay, minor chord progressions. So this is pretty darn similar. We're gonna do the same thing as last time, which is we are going to write out our progression chart, and then right next to it, we're gonna have chord translations in, like, let's say C minor instead of C major this time. So before we begin, over here on the right, I'm just going to very quickly, you don't have to write this down unless you really want to, but if you remember, C major has no sharps or flats. Let me get this out of the way. No sharps or flats. So 0, and then you flat the 3rd, 6th, and the 7th. So there is a B flat, an E flat, and an A flat in the key of C minor. Yes? Also in minor, I'm just making little notes over here off to the side. Maybe I'll do that over here this time. If we remember our flow chart, we started off with little 1, and then, or our Magnificent 7, little 1 goes to 2 diminished, yes. After that, we have big 3, if you recall, then little 4. Then we have big 5, because we borrow the 5 from major. We have big 6, and then we have 2 7s, if you recall. So we have the normal. This is just what it is. So this would be like, for example, in C minor, this would be B flat. And we also have 7 diminished, which would be B natural diminished, because we raise the root. So we go from B flat to B natural, changes the chord entirely. Oh gosh, what am I doing? And then we have little 1 again. I'm going to move a little bit fast here just because it is late, but please feel free to pause the video to rewind things. Totally okay. It's up to you guys. Okay, let's go ahead and look at our chart. I'm going to go ahead and start us off over here with, boom, 1. 1 is a great place to start, and this is little 1 because it is our minor chord progression, obvi. 1, what is 1 in C minor? Isel? Yes, very nice. That is C minor, very good. Boom! So we have C minor right over here. After that, where do we go, Robert? That is incorrect, Robert. I'm so sorry. After 1, we are going to go to big 7. This is different than our normal chart. So in our normal chart, we go 1 to 3, right? Here, it's all the same, except we go to 7 beforehand. So 1 goes to 3. 1 goes to 7, oops, and this is B flat major because we're in C minor, right? So it's B flat, E flat, A flat. So C minor goes to B flat. After this, now we go through our normal motions. So we go to 3, but it's big 3 because we are in minor, and big 3 is E flat major. Now, big 3 is really crazy important. I'm going to put a tiny little star here right next to big 3. There's a big problem with big 3 when it comes to writing chord progressions, and the problem has to do with relative major and minor. I was going to film this whole thing at the track today when I was doing a run, but I left my phone in the car and I couldn't, and I was going to do a whole thing. But the problem is that relative major and minor, it's very easy to change keys between them by accident. And big 3 in minor is the relative major. So when you're in major, 6 is the minor, right? Well, when you turn 6 into 1, then 3 becomes the relative major. I hope that's not horribly confusing. I'll write over here just very quickly. If you are in C, C is 1, right? And then A minor down here is 6. But if you are in A minor, where you're like, oh no, A minor's 1, A, B, C. So C becomes 3 in A minor's perspective. And it's very easy to change keys into the relative major if we are not careful. So we're going to treat minor very carefully, and we're going to be very aware of how we use 3 going forward. So I just wanted to mention that now because it's going to come up a lot. Okay, continuing on with our chord progressions. All of these are arrows, by the way. They all go forward. It's a lot to draw arrows every single time, so I usually don't, but I'll do it right now. After 3, we go to our so we go to 6. Good correction. Thank you, Janie, for correcting me on that. All right, so we go to big 6 right over here. And that is going to be, yes, Megan. Good job. A flat. Megan got that because we're in minor. All right, C minor, B flat, E flat, A flat. Good, good, good. Going on in our flowchart. What happens next? Yes, Jehu, we do go to the subdominant bracket. Very, very good. So, boom and bam. Our subdominant bracket is going to have 4 on top, but since we are in minor, that is going to be little 4, which is F minor. Very nice. And, oh, good morning, Costa.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
Oh my gosh, Costa, I am so proud of you. Yes, thank you for being here, Costa. Hurry up and take some notes. 4 to F minor, very, very nice. After this, 4 goes downwards. It doesn't go back upwards, and it goes down to 2 diminished. Now, just because 2 is diminished, it doesn't have some magical property that makes it a dominant thing going to whatever. No. It's still just 2. The root is still going to be 2. So because of that, it still belongs in our subdominant bracket. It comes after 4, but it doesn't change its function. So for example, here is C minor on the uke. Here is F minor. And then here is D minor on the ukulele. Sounds kind of good, but then it can just easily go to 5-1. So being diminished doesn't really change its function at all. Okay, after that, we are going to, up. D diminished, hooligans, almost let me forget that. After the subdominant bracket, we go to the dominant bracket. And the dominant function is to return back home to little 1. And we do that by 2 means. One of those means is our 5 or 5-7, which is our G chord. Again, please feel free to rewind any of this. I am moving a little bit fast. And G moves downwards to 7 diminished. So little 7 with our little degree sign. And these are interchangeable. They go back and forth. And yes, 7 diminished. Logan, very good. Is B diminished. Boom. So here is our chart. I am going to label just very, very quickly our subdominant and dominant brackets. So maybe I'll do that in this purple up here. This is subdom. And this is our dom bracket. At the very, very end of your chart, you don't really need to put this, but it is implied, obviously, that it goes to 1. That's what the dominant does. Okay, something about the dominant bracket. This whole bracket right here, this doesn't exist in minor. There is no dominant in minor. I mean, technically, if we're in C minor, like G minor is the dominant, but it's not the strong dominant. It's not the major dominant. And there certainly isn't a 7 diminished. So the whole dominant bracket doesn't even exist in minor, but we force it to be there by changing the root. When we raise the root, we create the 7 diminished chord. When we raise the root, we create the 5 chord, right? The major 5 chord, because the third of any dominant chord is the leading tone. So this whole bracket doesn't exist, and we make it exist by using the harmonic minor 7th, which is by raising the 7th, which is kind of cool. And that's what makes minor extra juicy. So here's C minor. Here's G minor. And back to C. It's fine. It's okay, but it doesn't give you that punch. Delicious. And that's the harmonic 7th that raises. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about our exceptions. I don't want to waste your time. Our exceptions are the exact same. They're the exact same as earlier. So you can copy your notes over. I don't want to just be up here blabbing, but I'll just do it very, very quickly for you. So our first exception over here was, remember, 1 can go anywhere. Same exact thing. 1 can go anywhere. I'm going to move a little bit faster in this. Our next exception here was that 4, and it's little 4 this time. Oh, and I put big 1 here. Oh my gosh, it's supposed to be little 1. Let me erase it. Yes, I can go anywhere. Okay, 4 can go to 1. Yes. Our next exception here was that, did I do the other one or the other one? Yeah. The dominant bracket, which is either 5-7 or 7 diminished, can go to 6, and that's big 6. And then our final exception was our funky cadence, which does not have a name in Western music, and that was 3 can go to 4. If this is fast, feel free to rewind it. If you have your notes from last class, which most of us absolutely should, it's the exact same, which is kind of awesome. So memorizing the exceptions for one helps you memorize it for the other one. Drawing in our exceptions into the flow chart very, very quickly. Here is the 4-1. And remember, the 4-1 was nicknamed the Amen cadence. that is a very specific piece of information that may or may not come up as extra credit. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. It might not, but it's very important. Maybe it'll come up on the AP test. So 4 can go to 1. Our dominant bracket over here can come backwards to 6. Now, just because it's A flat and not A doesn't make it less impactful. It still very much deceives the ear in a beautiful and juicy way. Here is C minor, G7, A flat. It's just really nice. 1, 5, 6. It's still very, very nice, and it still functions to extend chord progressions very, very well. And then our final exception here was our 3 to 4. Yes? Okay, I'm gonna put a little kind of, it's not an exception at all, but I'm gonna put a little rule down here. I'm gonna put it in pink. That is not pink. I'm gonna put it in pink. Yes. And this is going to be a warning. A warning to first-year theory students. Beware the 7 to 3. Beware of the 7 to 3. And then maybe I'll put down here accidental key change to major. Every time you hit the 7 to 3, your ear is going to change keys. And you have to be really, really careful of that. So here's C minor. Here's 7. Yikes. Didn't it just feel like I just arrived here? That's bad. I'm supposed to be in C minor. But that doesn't feel like 1 anymore. So even using the B flat to E flat, it makes you change keys. And why does it do that? Because it's circle of 5th movement, right? B flat to E flat. Yeah, that's 7 to 3, but if we're in the key of E flat, that's 5 to 1, right? So B flat to E flat is just 5 to 1 in the key of E flat. And that's very dangerous. So if you use the E flat in a song, do not stay on the 3, right? Get away from it as fast as possible. In your chord progression, you don't want to arrive at the 3 very often. So using the 7 is very rare. It is used, but it has to be used very carefully or you will accidentally change keys and everyone will hate your song. Okay? Okay, good. So that is minor chord progressions. We will keep talking about this on Friday. Alrighty, everybody. There's only one more thing that we're going to do today, and it's going to be a worksheet for you guys to practice our figured bass. So first things first, you need this worksheet. But if I give it to you right now, Danielle Moy is just going to do it. So why don't we just go ahead and wait for 1 second. Before I give it to you, a couple of things to keep in mind. There are either, I'm just going to make notes at the very, very top here. There are either triads or 7th chords. And you can either take notes somewhere in your book or you can take notes in your brain. It's an AP class, you're fine. Okay, so there are either triads or 7th chords, yes? For triads, there is either nothing, or there's 6 chords, or there's 6 4 chords, yes? And this is as it builds up. So in a C chord, this would be C, E, and G. Yeah, C's in the bass, no inversion. E's in the bass, first inversion. G is in the bass, 6/4, second inversion. For 7th chords, I'll make a little of this, a little bit of that. For a 7th chord, let's take a G7 chord. Let's say we're in the key of C or something. We have G, that's going to be in the way there. We have G, B, D, and F. Major chord on the bottom, minor third on top. Yes, okay. And if G is in the bass and it's a 7th chord, then 7 is our figured bass. If B is there, we just count backwards. So 7, 6, 5. There you go. That's a 5 right there. And then we keep counting backwards. 4, 3 for D. And then finally 4, 2. Or just 2. Robert, I've been thinking about that a lot. I like just calling it 2, but it is called 4/2. Okay, now these are the abbreviations. Remember, they have longer names. So right here on our homework example, we have example A and example B. Right here, it has 6/4. That's the abbreviation. That's what they have right there. The distance from the top notes to the bottom note is 6. The distance from the next notes to the bottom note is 4. So you always start with the biggest and then go smallest. So 6/4, boom, that works out. This is a 7th chord over here, so you're going to have to use your 7th chord system as we do this. So 6, 4, and then 2. Now, the abbreviation for a 6/4/2 chord is a 4/2 chord. So what I would like you to do is map out all of the numbers, and then I want you to just put a little square or highlight or whatever, or circle, whatever you want to do, the abbreviation title. So I'll do the first one right here with you, and then I'll let you go grab your sheet, because your sheet is somewhere in the choir room. Okay, so here's the bottom note right here. Here's our top note. The distance, y'all please use your fingers or just count. So interval is distance between two notes, including the two notes, yeah? Here's the first note, 1. And then you just climb up, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't need to tell me if it's a major or minor or diminished fifth. I do not want to know any of that. This is quantity, not quality, yes? So just quantity. Start at the top distance to the bottom distance. So that's a 5. The next one, 1, 2, 3 is a 3. And that's it. It's 5/3. Now the abbreviation for 5/3, which is a root position chord, is nothing. So just put a little empty box right below, so I know that you know that a 5/3 chord is just a root position triad, and you don't need to do anything to it. Yes? One more right over here. What clef are we in? Guys, it doesn't matter what clef you're in, because you're just counting intervals. Yes? That was a little rude, wasn't it? I apologize. It doesn't matter. So bottom note right here. It could be a G, it could be a B, it doesn't matter what the clef is. I'm just counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Top note to the bottom note is a 6. And then from this note right here to this note is 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom! And it's a triad because there's only 3 notes in there, not 4 notes. So this is a 6/4 chord. Yes? You are going to figure out the inversions for all of these chords right here. And hopefully as you go through it, your eye is going to start recognizing, oh, when it's 3 notes stacked on top of each other, that's a triad. There's another one right there, right? When it's 4 stacked on top of each other like that, oh, that's a 7th chord. Oh, here's a triad right over here, right? Oh, here's another triad. So you start kind of recognizing, without even counting, what the shapes are starting to look like, which is a good thing. Don't do the bottom. It's not really something I'm working towards with you guys. It's just, honestly, it's making this concept just a little bit more confusing. So this is your assignment right here. You are going to find it somewhere in the room. If you don't find it in the next 5 minutes, will someone please send me a reminder? It's a present in my office. Megan, will you go to my office and find the worksheet present for you? You don't trust me because last time there wasn't a present. You are absolutely right. It's in the practice room to the left of my office. Go, go, go! To the left of my office. It's that little room. Go for it. Okay, while Megan is opening that room, Costa, you are going to look inside the piano where you're going to find a stack of worksheets. Literally put your hand inside the piano. It's like around where like low C is in the left hand, so it's in the low part of the piano. If you do not find the worksheets inside the piano, because I really do think I moved it when I was driving home, I'm like, shoot, I think I brought it back out. It looks like this, and it might be on the piano somewhere. Go find it, but I'm pretty sure it's inside the piano. All right, guys, this is due by the end of the class period. You could just go ahead and leave it on the piano. If you absolutely cannot finish it, then yes, it's due by, you can do it for homework. That is totally okay. I want you practicing this stuff, but you shouldn't have any homework between now and Friday. Go ahead and do this right now in class. Leave it on the piano somewhere obvious for me, and then I'll pick it up, and hopefully you don't have any homework. All right, thank you for your patience, folks. Sorry I can't be there today. I'm taking a personal day. Thinking about you guys. Have a great day, and I will see you on Friday. Adios!